Hi guys, welcome to this video. Martin speaking, and this is the first full introduction to how to play Warhammer 40,000 7th edition. So in the last video with the bad sound, which I apologise again for, we looked at what is Warhammer 40,000, looked at the fluff and like what some of the armies were, and just a basic breakdown of what the game is. So now we're going to look at what you need to start playing Warhammer 40,000. It may sound really obvious, and some of the things I go through will be really obvious, but we're going to cover them all. This is a beginner's guide to Warhammer 40,000 for brand new people who aren't into the hobby, but also those guys that just want to learn how to play 7th edition. And obviously there's certain bits that you can skip over, guys, and I'm sorry if I'm preaching to the converted, but I'm trying to cover every base that I can with this. So, what do you need to play Warhammer 40,000? Obviously you need an army. You can't play the game if you haven't got an army. Simple as that. But, and I stress a but, at that point, that does not mean that you have to go out and you have to spend masses of money, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, on a whole army to start with. You don't need to do it, guys. Build it up slowly over time. If funds allow, by all means, go out and buy the army. Go and drop £300-400 on an army. What will happen is you won't like playing with it. If you just go out and buy something that you've read on the internet because you saw, oh, this is a fantastic 1,500 point list, or this is a fantastic 2,000 point list, it's a such and such star, it's a flying circus, it's whatever it is, you just won't enjoy playing it, guys. Do it, but heed my words. Build it up slowly. I would also, at this point, just to interject, not from playing the game, I would advise paint each unit as you buy it, otherwise you'll end up with an army that's built but isn't painted. And try things out. Start small, start with maybe 1 or 2 units, a couple of units, or HQ and 2 troops. That's the basics that you need to play the game, and then just get used to the crux of the game, get used to playing things, and then introduce further things in: heavy weapons, tanks, flyers, fortifications, whatever you want to put in. Add them in time, don't have to put them in straight away. What you will see me referring to as I go through different things throughout this video, a lot of the things that I refer to you can buy combined in one set. Now Games Workshop sell this at £75, and I say at this point, rather than repeating right the way through the video, all the prices I'm going to talk about are GW retail prices. Yes, you can get them cheaper online, yes, you can get them cheaper from local gaming stores or whatever it might be. There's another acronym for you guys: FLGS, Friendly Local Gaming Store. You'll see it all over the internet, that's what it stands for. I can't speak for who's given what discount on what day. I can speak for what price GW set for their sets. So, the Dark Vengeance starter set is £75, and what that gives you is about 800 or 900 points, I think it is, of Dark Angels, and about the same of Chaos Space Marines. You've got HQ, you've got troops, you've got a librarian, you've got a little bit of everything in there. There's a Hellbrute on the Chaos side, so you've got a bit of vehicle in there as well with armour values. So it gives you an all-round feel for the game. You also get a copy of the rulebook, a nice softback A5 copy of the rulebook. You get a few dice in there and you get a few templates. I'll cover those things in a moment. It's fantastic value for money. If you don't want the Dark Angels and you don't want the Chaos Space Marines, by all means cost up the things separately, and you might find that you want to still buy the set but sell the models on, or just have them as extra models, or you can go down the route of the things that I'm going to show you. So you get your army. I'm going to do videos on building an army after the series is finished. That's not what this is about, this is how to play. But once you've got your army, you're going to need somebody to play against, so you need an opponent. Can you play this game by yourself? Yes, you can, but you'll always win, and there's no fun in that. And you will always favour one side more than the other. Whoever is your army is always going to get those lucky re-rolls or whatever it is. You'll just, naturally, the human mind will make you more of a tactician for the army that you want to win, and it generally will pan out that way. So grab yourself an opponent. By all means, buy the starter set between 2 of you. £75 halved, what's that? £37.50 each, UK. That's then not an expensive amount to get into the hobby. Granted, you're sharing a rulebook, but learn together. You do need an opponent. You can go down to a local gaming club. You can go down to your local GW, to be fair, and you can always pick up games in there, maybe ring ahead. If you're struggling to find a gaming club, Then the GCN, which is the Gamer Club Network, I think it's a UK based thing, it might be worldwide, I'm not sure. But they're on all of the forums, they have access to local clubs, and it's much simpler than you think. You just type into Google Wargaming Club Liverpool, because that's where I am. So you type in Wargaming Club Liverpool, and it will bring up a list of the clubs that are near you. I've got 3 within 20-30 minutes travel to me. So I'm quite lucky. I live in a busy city. Some of the more remote parts of the country, you might find it a bit more of a struggle. If you're struggling, guys, give me a shout. I'll see if I can help you. Just drop a comment on here or email me at Painted Wargames, and I'll see if I can help you out. So once you've got an opponent and you've got an army, you now need to know how to play the game. These videos are going to show you that, but you can't rely on these 100%. I'm going to say a disclaimer now, which I'm going to say in every video as well. I am not a rules writer, I am not a rules guru. I have a good overall understanding of the rules, and that's where you want to get yourselves to. I still constantly refer back to the rules, and when I'm playing with other experienced players, I question rules all the time. They question rules with me because interpretation comes into it. Worry about that bit when you get to it. Let's just get to the basics. Somebody will always help you out, and you can always refer back to these videos. So the first thing you're going to need is a rule book. Now, this is the A4, as you can see there. It's a big, thick, hardback book, and this is the A4 version that GW sell. It comes as a set of 3 books. The other 2 books are artwork, fluff, some heavy metal pages of painted miniatures. Fantastic books, but you don't need them. This is the one that you need. This retails GW £50, and that gets you the 3 books. It is a big, heavy book. It's 200 and something pages. Let's get to the back of the book there. 230, if memory's right. No, 209 pages. So it's a big book, but it's got everything you need in it. And literally, this full set of videos, I'm going to walk through this book, and I'm going to explain them in a visual way so that you don't have to sit and read them. You do need one. It's as simple as that. Whether you have your own one, whether you share one, you do need one of these, because these videos are only going to give you the guide of getting through. This is where you're going to refer back to for everything, for unique special rules and everything else. You need to have one of these on you pretty much at all time, or at least between you and your opponent. So grab yourselves a rule book. Second thing you're going to need, and possibly even more important than the rule book, is a codex. And codex is what we call our army books in Warhammer 40,000. And essentially it's exactly that. It is an army book. This tells you everything you need to know about the army you've chosen to play. So you can see there, this one's Dark Eldar, which is an army that I'm playing at the moment. There's a book available for every single army. There are a couple that aren't available as of yet in hardback. Blood Angels has just been released, or is just being released at the time of recording this video, which means there's still Necrons to go, and I believe Sisters of Battle, which is only a web-based book, like an e-book at the moment. I believe there are rumours, who knows. But yeah, these retail at £30 each for the hardback book. If you buy the Space Marine one, it's actually £35 because it's nearly twice the thickness, to be fair, because it goes through all the different chapters and how the different tactics work with each of them. So it's a more involved book. It costs more money, makes sense. And as with the rule book, you get lots of fantastic artwork inside here. So this is showing you the different cabals, and then there's a lot of backstory to them, so on and so forth. Some lovely pictures of painted minis, and then we get through to the actual rules for each unit. So the page I've opened up here just happens to be a succubus, so it'll give you the points cost, it'll give you the weapon profiles, give you the loadout for how that works and how it fits into your army, and any other special rules that go with it. Flick through a few pages. So there we've got racks, and this is why you need it, guys. You can't really get by without this, because you don't know how much you've got to pay in points for your models, and you don't know what they fit into, whether they're fast attack, whether they're troop, whether they're elite, so on and so forth. Choose your army. By all means, use some of the videos that I put, or the videos that are up there, research, figure out what army you want, choose your army, buy the codex. say, potentially more important than the rulebook. You can share a rulebook. Definitely get hold of one of them. After that, you're going to need a tape measure. Again, this is a Games Workshop one. I think this is about £3.50, somewhere around there. They're not expensive. You can buy them in Poundland or Wilkinson's or whatever. You can get them for 50p. There's nobody going to tell you what tape measure you have to buy. All you've got to make sure is that it has feet and inches on there. So it's got to have imperial measurements, not just metric measurements. And it's really important because the whole game is played in inches. Whether it be your movement, a typical infantry moves 6 inches, or whether it be measuring your range of fire, 24, 36, 48 inches, whatever it might be, you're going to need your tape measure to do it. That's really all I need to say about tape measures. They're not a laborious thing to go through. You are also going to need templates. Now, this is the set that comes with the Dark Vengeance box set. You can buy them on their own. I think they're about £9 from Games Workshop. You can buy custom-made ones, and there are some fantastic ones out there. You do need a set. Again, guys, these are things you have to play the game. So this one is actually called a flame template. Well, it's actually called a template. People will refer to it as a flame template. It's a teardrop shape. It's an 8-inch length, typically used for flamer weapons, which we will go more into when we get to it. You've then got small and large blast. Pretty obvious which is which, and again, you're going to need those. They're inexpensive. If you buy the starter set, they're all in there. I keep hitting on about the starter set, guys. It just is worth getting. So guys, another thing you're going to need to play the game, obviously, is dice. The game is based around dice and tape measures. There are a few that you get with the Dark Vengeance set. I always recommend buying a few more. You can go crazy with your dice. I normally buy 50 for an army. And you can get these online as cheap as £3 or £4 for a bag of 50 dice. And they come in lots of different sizes, lots of different styles of dice as well. You'll typically hear people talking about D6. D6 is a 6-sided dice, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, funnily enough. These particular ones are 10mm dice in purple because they match the old colour of my old Dark Eldar. And that's what they're for. I've got black and yellow ones en route for my new Dark Eldar. You don't have to buy custom dice. Some people get superstitious, like me, and will only use one set of dice for one army because they roll badly otherwise. What I absolutely do recommend though is whatever dice you buy, make sure you've got a few of another colour. So either the stock white ones that you get with the starter set, or just some random other colour dice. Reason being, you might be rolling one squad where somebody's got a different weapon, and you just need to single that weapon out rather than rolling a separate roll just for them. You just roll a different coloured dice, but we'll get more into that as we go through dice rolling. You can get custom made dice where you can have a logo printed on them. Again, these are all available on the internet, and they get bigger and bigger. The reason I use the 10mm dice is you can get lots of them in your hand. If you're playing, say, a Marine army or a Grey Knights army, something like that, which uses a lot less dice, by all means go for 16mm dice or bigger. What you will need, and again you get with the starter set, if not, you can buy these online, is what we call a scatter die. So this has 4 arrows to indicate the marker of the direction of the scatter, and then 2 hit symbols. Quite important, so if you're going to shoot any sort of random weapon that doesn't just have a normal shot, then you need a scatter die to make it work. But as I say, you can get them relatively cheap on the internet. You can definitely get them, well, you definitely get one with the starter set anyway. If you're ordering dice off the internet, it would never hurt to order a couple of the more odd dice, maybe a D10, a D20, more for random allocation than anything else. But you don't have to have them, they're just nice little things to add in and have. I haven't got any. If I need to randomise, then we find other ways of doing it, but we'll go into that as we need to. What you will need, and again you get with the starter set, if not, you can buy these online, is what we call a scatter die. So this has 4 arrows to indicate the marker of the direction of the scatter, and then 2 hit symbols. Quite important, so if you're going to shoot any sort of random weapon that doesn't just have a normal shot, then you need a scatter die to make it work. But as I say, you can get them relatively cheap on the internet. You can definitely get them, well, you definitely get one with the starter set anyway. if you're ordering dice off the internet, it would never hurt to order a couple of the more odd dice, maybe a D10, a D20, more for random allocation than anything else. But you don't have to have them, they're just nice little things to add in and have. I haven't got any. If I need to randomise, then we find other ways of doing it, but we'll go into that as we need to. So you're going to end up wanting something to play your games on, which is typically called a battleboard. What you can see here is a Games Workshop's Realm of Battleboard. Now these cost an extortionate £175. They come unpainted. You get the 6 panels to make your typical 6x4 gaming board. The problem I find with these is the hills that you can see there, although they're modular, they're so slippy your models just slide down them. I'm not a fan of these and I think it's a lot of money. You can just as easily make your own, and you can see underneath this one that's all that the club have done that I play at. This is the Wardens of the North Gaming Club up in Wigan, where I play, and they just have a lot of 2x4 MDF boards painted with a bit of PVA glue and a bit of sand on there and then painted up, and it just works. You can do 2x2 squares, you can do a whole 6x4 board. Typically you want to end up with a 6x4 board to play on, or 4x4 is acceptable. You're also going to want terrain on your board, guys. GW sell a range that goes from anywhere from about £10 right the way up to £100, maybe even more, and you've got everything from small buildings like this through to large buildings that we'll get to. There's then obviously crater marks, just a little bit of terrain to slow you down walking through and give you very basic cover. We'll get more in depth into how cover works and everything obviously when we get to that section of the game. It just makes your table look a lot nicer if you've got some terrain on there. But at the beginning, guys, while you're setting out, don't worry about going and buying all this expensive stuff. Use a couple of books, use some cardboard tubes, kids' toys if you've got them around, whatever you want that's going to look good and just give you some sort of depth to your table. I mean, that's a huge big piece there, but you don't really need it. So it's your choice, guys, and see how you get on with it. Right, guys, so we've now looked at everything that you have to play the game: rulebook, codex, tape measure, templates and dice. They're things that you can't really play the game without. We're now going to take a look at things that you don't have to have, but I would suggest if your funds allow, you should pick them up as soon as you possibly can. And these are things that just make the game easier to play. First thing I want to go into is tactical objective cards. Now these are £5 from Games Workshop, come in a nice little box. And they are literally an exact copy of what's in the rule book. So when you play the Maelstrom of War missions, rather than rolling a d66 for each card and then having to write it down and then having to cross it off as soon as you've claimed it and having to roll again, with these you just shuffle your deck, and then first turn you might be taking 3 cards, so you take your 3, you read what you've got and you know what they are. You can discard them, take new ones. They just make life much easier, and at only £5 they're inexpensive. There are certain ones available, specific ones I should say, available for set codexes. So any of the codexes that have been released after 7th edition, Orcs, Space Wolves, Dark Eldar, I'm going to forget somebody, Blood Angels will get theirs obviously, and Necrons will get theirs. They've all got Grey Knights. They'll all get their own limited edition, favourite thing of GW, limited edition set of data cards. They're identical to these other than numbers 11 through 20, I think, but they sell out like that. So you can pay extortionate money for them on eBay. You then don't need to, you just replace those few numbers if you were to draw one with the correct card from your codex. Next to that is a deck of psychic power cards. Again, similar sort of box. Memory serves correct, I think these are £8, they might be £10, so I stand corrected if I'm wrong. And in here, funnily enough, you get psychic cards. So every psychic power that is available to standard armies comes in there. If your army has its own psychic powers, i.e. Tyranids, then you need the Tyranid psychic cards, or you just use the codex. Same with the cards that I've just said about the data cards for i.e. Dark Eldar aren't psychics. Grey Knights, for example, they have their own psychic cards in their pack, orcs and whatnot. And the beauty of having these things is if you've got a psyker in your army, then you can take the card and you can put it next to the relevant psyker so that you know what you've got and you're not going back to the rulebook to refer to that. You've got it in a handy card format. But again, they're not a necessity. Another thing is objective markers. Now, Games Workshop sell these Lasgun power packs. They do 3 different ones. They do one which is just dice numbers, so however many dice in there with numbers 1 to 6. They then do a mysterious objective markers, which are fantastic, and then they do the vehicle damage markers, which I don't think there's much point. If you want my opinion, don't buy those ones. I wouldn't necessarily buy the 1 to 6 ones either. I have, or I've acquired somewhat, whatever. But in these, you get, dice, which looks different from your normal dice. The beauty of that then is you're not going to pick it up and roll it and forget what number objective it is. And you get little servo skull, monetarium servo skull to sit your dice on, that you can then just put on the table, and you can see what your objective number or marker is. If you don't want to buy those ones, I think they're about £10 a packet. If you don't want to buy those ones, make your own. Fantastic, just make your own. It could be as simple as just a base with a number on it. It could be something as fancy as a themed one to your army. So if you're doing a chaos army, you might have all sorts of chaos shrines, but with numbers on them. Imagination, let it go wild, guys. But it is nice to have them. For the purposes of starting the game, there's nothing wrong with having a torn piece of paper with a number written on it, and you just put that down on the table. I just don't advise using your normal dice, because you will pick it up and you'll forget where you put it and it'll cause arguments. So if you can, either make some objective markers or go and buy yourself some. Plenty of people on the internet making custom ones for commission. So check them all out, guys. But that's about it for what you actually need to play the game. So take all what I've said. Again, it's been a lengthy video, I understand that, and I appreciate your time, guys. Let me know what you think about the content. I've had some good comments about the last one. Hopefully this one's the same. I'm trying to keep it as informative as I can without being too boring and labouring too much on any point. But let me know what you think. Drop some comments below. Like the video, let's share it out, let's get it out there, let's get some more views on them. And obviously if you haven't already, then please subscribe to the video. And I'll see you in the next one, which is going to be about preparing for battle. So look forward to it, guys, and see you soon.